So students, these are the multiple choice questions on the poem on Milton by William Wordsworth. So previously this poem was titled by the name London 1802. So afterwards the title is changed to On Milton. तो ये एक ही पोएम है लंदन 1802, इसी का नाम है ऑन मिल्टन. So who is the poem London 1802 addressed to? It is addressed to John Milton. What is Wordsworth lamenting in the poem? He is lamenting the moral decay of England. According to Wordsworth, England is in need of Milton's soul and moral values. So which literary form does London 1802 belong? As usual, it is a sonnet. What type of sonnet is London 1802? It is a Petrarchan sonnet. What is the rhyme scheme of the octave in the sonnet? Petrarchan sonnet is divided into octave and sestet. Octave means 8 lines and sestet is 6 lines. So total is 14 lines sonnet. So here it is asked about the rhyme scheme of octave. So it is ABBA, ABBA. How does Wordsworth describe Milton's soul? He describes Milton's soul as pure and heavenly. What natural element is used to describe Milton's soul? The ocean. Milton's voice is compared to what? A trumpet. Which of the following virtues is not mentioned as the quality of Milton? The power. Wordsworth believes Milton can restore England's manners and virtue. Milton's life is described as majestic and humble. The poem suggests that modern England lacks inner moral worth. Which of these best captures the tone of the poem? These are the options. The mournful and admiring poem. Thy soul was like a star is an example of simile. Thou hadst a voice whose sound was like the sea is an example of. It is also a simile. What does Wordsworth admire about Milton's poetry? Its moral force. The line in the firmament thy dwelling place refers to Milton's celestial and elevated spirit. Which age is the poem critical of? It is critical of modern 1802 England. The main appeal of the poem is for moral regeneration. Which poetic device dominates the description of Milton's soul and voice? The simile. It is a simile. What does Wordsworth believe England has lost? England has lost its moral compass and nobility. The poem can be categorized as a spiritual invocation. What role does Wordsworth assign to Milton in the poem? A moral guide and a prophet. Which best describe the poem's structure? The octave and sestet that I told you previously. Now about 25 more multiple choice questions on this poem that are in stanza based questions and line references. So first question is, Milton, thou shouldst be living at this hour, England hath need of thee. What does this line express? It expresses a longing for Milton's virtues in a morally decayed society. She is a fan of stagnant waters. The metaphor fan of stagnant water suggests what? The moral and spiritual decay. The poet says we are selfish men. Who does we refer to? The people of England. Oh, raise us up, return to us again, and give us manners, virtue, freedom, power. What does the poet request? He requests a restoration of moral and cultural values. Thy soul was like a star and dwelt apart. What quality of Milton is suggested here? His divine inspiration and moral integrity. The line, "Thou hadst a voice whose sound was like the sea," it implies Milton's poetry was melodious and eternal. "So didst thou travel on life's common way in cheerful godliness." This suggests that Milton lived an ordinary yet virtuous life. In the line, "And yet thy heart the lowliest duties on herself did lay," what does Wordsworth admire? He admired Milton's humble fulfillment of everyday responsibilities. These are some general multiple choice questions about the poem's structure, the style of the poem, and the themes discussed in this poem. So the next question is about these. Which of the following best describe the poem's structure? It is a Petrarchan sonnet, the octave and sestet that I had explained to you earlier. What is the rhyme scheme of the octave in London 1802? It is ABBA. ABBA. The tone of the poem can be best described as solemn and admiring. Wordsworth views Milton as a symbol of moral greatness and purity. Wordsworth compares Milton's soul to a star. Milton's poetic voice is likened to the sound of the sea. Wordsworth uses Milton as a moral ideal to contrast with the corrupt present. What quality does Wordsworth admire most in Milton's character? Humility and virtue. Cheerful godliness in the poem reflects joyful devotion to duty and faith. What kind of appeal does the poet make to Milton? The spiritual and ethical. The lowliest duties implies that Milton valued humility and everyday responsibilities. Which poetic device is dominant in "Thy soul was like a star"? It is a simile. What emotion does what emotion dominates Wordsworth's attitude in the poem? The reference. The line, England had need of thee," is an example of apostrophe. Wordsworth criticizes contemporary England as being selfish and morally stagnant. Which poetic technique is used throughout the poem to directly address Milton? The apostrophe. And the last question, the poem was written during the period of political and moral unrest in England. So prepare these questions for your exams and keep watching my videos.